Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvanavadhitamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda madhavam. Samasta jana kalyane Niratam karunamayam Namami chinmayam devam Sadgurum brahma vidvaram. Sadgurum brahma vidvaram. So the war has not yet begun, but both forces are there together. There is the Kauravas, there are the Pandavas. On one side, you have Duryodhana suddenly facing the chaos in his mind, because now he is having double thoughts as to how this whole war that has come about, how it is that he will take it to victory. Because he is seeing in front of him the great stalwarts, right? Whom some of them, whom he had himself tried to win over to his side, but he was unable to buy their loyalty, because they were more on the side of dharma. And yet, in his this anxiety, he was missing out on the main point that he had a huge army. He had also on his side the best of warriors, including Bhishma and Drona. And therefore, when he started, he first went to Drona and then tried to provoke him into going into that mode where he ensures, basically he just wanted someone to tell him that it's okay, we'll win, don't worry, we'll fight in the right way, I will lead in the right way, you don't have to worry, I am here. So that Mehuna was not coming from anyone over there, he was just saying, he was thinking that somewhere, maybe what if, maybe, and the what ifs were all coming up to him, and he was thinking, what if my grandsire suddenly decides to go with the Pandavas? What if Drona gives up and says that no, he will go with his other disciples who are equally good, and against whom he always, that is Duryodhana, always had some kind of a jealousy, right? Some kind of an envy. And that mainly stemmed from his own conscience, where he knew he was not on the side of dharma, right? And what more evidence than to see Krishna on the other side? So anyway, sometimes it is that when we are facing the situation, then we are overthinking, and we are also thinking of all the regrets that we have about certain decisions that we might have made. And here is what Duryodhana is also facing, right? And therefore, he sees then, as he is talking, as he is doing the self-talk, he suddenly comes to the point that, yeah, actually speaking, we have a good enough army. We have Bhishma, and he's ever alert. He's steadfast, and yes, he is a good leader for us. So what should we do? So he tells his entire forces that yes, what we should do is we should be there to support Bhishma. And then he says that, he is our Pitamaha and he is the one who can take us, lead us into this battle, and let us be alert that he has no, no kind of lapse when he's leading. Hope that those weaknesses that might come up, or rather there was only one weakness, that of Shikhandi, so that should not come up over there. And more than that, he should have the right kind of defense to launch his attacks. So that was his standpoint at the end. And in unison with him, Bhishma, as if to encourage him, he blows the conch, right? And that is what we saw in the last class, that he has blown the conch. Bhishma has gone ahead and blown the conch to encourage Duryodhana, but that acts as a trigger for all the rest of the Kauravas to go ahead and blow each of them, they all started blowing their own instrument, right? So there were some, so what were those instruments? So we said that, there was Shankha, there was the kettle drums, then there was the, the Gomukhaha, the horn-shaped conches, right? And so many different kinds of, you might say, the wind instruments were available, and they were used to signal whatever messages were to be given. And so the entire Kaurava side started resounding with these conches and drums, right? And that gave the signal to the Pandavas side also. But unlike what Duryodhana thought, who led the Pandava side of the blowing of the conches? It was Madhava. It was Krishna himself who blew the conches, as if to signal that though he has not taken up the position of being the commander officially, rather he had taken the humble position of being the charioteer of Arjuna, right? And yet he was the one to whom the entire Pandavas, the entire side of Pandavas looked up to for the decisions, So therefore when he blew the conch, it was the entire Pandava side also which joined him, right? And so, in that we also saw each of the Pandavas, right? They also had the different conches, so which were there. So Rishikesha, that is Krishna, his conch was called the Panchajanya. Then you had Arjuna's conch, which was called Devadatta. Bhima had his huge conch, which was called Poundra. So then further we said that, Yudhishthira, which one did he have? So his conch was called Ananta Vijaya, to signal what? That he was the one who was ever steadfast on the side of Dharma, and therefore the one who follows Dharma, the one who is steadfast in that Dharma, has that conviction to, no matter what, stand by that righteousness, that person definitely will have victory. And what kind of victory? Not just a momentary victory, it will be Ananta Vijaya, that which is an infinite victory, which will never end, right? And then of course there was Nakula and Sahadeva. Their conches were Sughosha and Manipushpaka respectively, right? And then there were other kings, right? So there was the there was the Kashi Naresha, there was Shikhandi, there was Drishtadyumna, there was Virata. All of these, they were there on the side of the Pandavas. And so also there was the 5 sons of Draupadi. There was the son of Subhadra, who was Abhimanyu. There was others also, various warriors, various princes who were Maharathas by themselves. They also blew each of their conches. So when this happened, now suddenly, the whole side of the Kauravas became more alert and they became even more fearful, because that unison with which the Pandava clan, entire set of kings and princes and relatives who were there on the Pandava side, when they together in synchronization, they blew the conches, they also played the drums, etc. It was as if the whole earth and heaven had come together. It was so loud and tumultuous that the Kauravas, right, they were shaken to the core, because suddenly they realized that these are the ones who are going to fight us, right? And they knew that each of them were steadfast in achieving their goal, and they were not going to be scared of anything, nor the numbers, nor the strength of the Kauravas. So therefore here in the 19th verse it is said, Saghosho dhatarashranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulo vyanunadayan. So entire Dhritarashtra's party, the Kauravas side, was as though shaken by this whole sound which was reverberating the entire atmosphere in Kurukshetra. Now what happened further? So then further, Sanjay goes on to say what has happened on the side of the Pandavas, because so far he was telling what is the story happening with Duryodhana, that is Duryodhana's sons, how are they, what is the kind of scenario they are going through, what is Duryodhana's mindset. So here now suddenly he goes on, Sanjay focuses to the Pandavas side, and in the Pandavas side he goes to the place or position where Arjuna is, right? And what has happened, what is going on in the mind of this great warrior, right, who was to play a pivotal role in this Mahabharata. Okay, so here he says in the 20th verse, he says, Atha vyavasthitan drishtva Dhartarashtran prati kapidvajah pravrutte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavah rishikesham tada vakyam idamaha mahipate. Okay, so here is the scenario completely contrary to what was happening on the Kauravas side. In the Kauravas side, again what had happened. In the Kauravas side we had seen that Duryodhana was in a kind of a melancholy. Here because he was the one who was reason for this war. Where there was enough of chance to call it peacefully, have an amicable discussion and say that fine, you want some land, we'll give you some land, but don't interfere. He could have even done that, right? But then what happened? So they tried all four ways and finally had to go to Danda only. That is, they had to settle for war. They first tried to have an amicable dialogue where, Yudhishthira also went and they tried to say it. Then further, he said, okay, fine. Krishna came and Krishna said that why not do it in such a way that, they will take only 5 villages for each of the brothers. You don't have to give anything else, right? So, Dana also they tried. But again, no movement on that side. Duryodhana said, no, we are not going to budge. We want war only. Right? Even further, he went on to say that, see, if you look from a victorious kind of, if you want a win-win situation, you can just, appoint Yudhishthira as your consultant. You can have him part of your team, and then what is there? You will have the best of team on your side, because the rest of Pandavas, they always are in agreement with whatever Yudhishthira says. Even Bhima, even if he is arguing, right? Even if Bhima is not in agreement with what Yudhishthira is saying, yet at the end of it, when it comes to acting, when it comes to the action, he will do whatever Yudhishthira says. Right? He will always be in agreement. He will always be on the side of Yudhishthira. So what else is needed? You will have the best of the warriors. You will have the best on your side, and then further whatever you want to conquer in this world, it will be yours. Right? So why don't you have this win-win situation and keep Yudhishthira with you and peacefully, amicably be with them? But no. Duryodhana would not budge, and therefore it resulted in this war, right? So further what, as Sanjaya had gone and he had seen, right, on the day of the war, but it was Duryodhana only who was feeling a slot, not just a fluttery feeling in his heart and stomach, but he was not able to settle into this mode of war. So therefore he didn't even go to Bhishma, he straight went to Dronacharya, and then he tried to, instead of, asking him, how should we proceed, or, because, Dronacharya was his teacher. He knew both the Kauravas and the Pandavas in and out, right? Duryodhana could have very nicely asked him that, I am in such a state that I am not able to settle with this mind of mine. It is going here and there. How should can you give me some kind of confidence? How are we going to go about being victorious in this war? But he didn't do that. Instead, what did he do? He tried to provoke Dronacharya by his own doubts, because he was thinking, what if Drona does not, if he does not function in the right way, if he doesn't operate in the right way, and what if he goes on the side of the Pandavas? So there too, his mind, made him a loser, right? He made the wrong kind of move. And then to cover it up, of course, he tried to boost the morale of Drona also, etc. And, throughout it was visible that he was very selfishly playing this game. Throughout, he was not bothering that this whole set of people with him, the 11 Akshaunis, including his brothers, including various kings, princes, etc., all of them who were there, they were here on the battlefield because of him, and if they die, it was also because of him. It was for his selfish reasons that this war was happening, and even if he wanted to, even there and then, he could have changed this whole game. But he was not going to, right? So that was on the Duryodhana side, that was on the Kaurava side. But what was it, how was the mindset on the Pandava side? To show that, Sanjaya shows the picture of what is happening, the scene of what is happening with Arjuna, right? So how does he say it? He says, he says here is athavyavastitan drushtva dhartarashtran kapidhvajah. So there, who comes, then, seeing the whole array of the clan, of the Dhritarashtra's party, right? Who is coming forth ahead? It is Arjuna. How do we know it is Arjuna coming forth? Because on his chariot, he has the kapidhwaja. He has the flag bearing the insignia of a monkey. And of course that monkey is Hanumanji, right? Now in the battle again, there were certain things, very prominently displayed, like we said that, there were the conches, etc., right? So here even the flags were indicative of who is in which chariot, okay? Because there's going to be thousands and thousands of people. So to identify who is where, right? Each person also had their insignia. So for Arjuna, his chariot, right? And we also said that, he had this divine chariot with white horses, and of course Krishna at the helm, and the flag which bore the sign of Hanumanji. Of course, Hanumanji also meant that Ramji was with him. He was with Dharma, right? So therefore, it is said that, even though in Treta Yuga everyone went back, who remained back? It was Chiranjeevi Hanumanji, right? So it is said that, even in Mahabharata it is said, in one instance, when the 5 brothers are in exile, right? Bhim, he, on the insistence of his wife Draupadi, he goes searching for some flowers, these ketaki flowers he goes to look for. And as he is passing through the forest, he passes, there is this, big, huge monkey lying down on the path, and he doesn't seem to budge. His tail is blocking the entire path. And, Bhim being arrogant as he is, he tries to, ask the monkey, please move ahead, move out, I want to pass from this side. So that monkey, who seemed to be very aged and old, he just coughs and he says that, son, I am very old, I'm very exhausted also, so can you lift the tail? I am not able to get up. So now Bhim, of course, he's angry. First of all, he's not getting up, and second, he's asking me to pick up his tail. What is this, right? So he says, okay, fine, move away. I'll lift your tail. So as he tries to lift the tail, he sees it is getting heavier and heavier. He's unable to lift it, right? And then he realizes that he has made a grave mistake. Why? For it can't be, this monkey cannot be someone other than his guru, his teacher, who is Hanumanji himself, right? And these kind of incidents, right, in the Puranas, like even in Ramayana, even in Mahabharata, they are used to convey this one fact only, that where our arrogance is going, our ego is rising high, there Bhagwan will test. The Bhagwan comes and he tests in such a way, right? So therefore, Hanumanji was there to bring down the ego of Bhima over there. Anyway, now, but it is not Bhima who is having that kapidhwaja. Who is having the kapidhwaja? Here it is Arjuna who is having this kapidhwaja on his chariot. And that chariot was gifted to him by Agni, by fire itself, right? And so here he is declaring, who is declaring? Sanjay is declaring, here comes the great hero of the Mahabharata war. His entry is declared over here by Sanjay. So he says, Atha vyavastitan drishtva dharta rashtran kapidhwajah. So he doesn't immediately say his name, but he says the son of Pandu whose chariot bears the kapidhwaja, he enters. Looking at the formation of the entire clan of Kauravas over there. And what does he do then? And what is his stand? How do you know what is his stand? Is he confused? Is he also, fearful of what is going to happen? So here it is very clearly said, pravrutte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavaha. So he was in fact he was having this attitude of a warrior completely. Why? He says, he was completely alert, and he was assessing the entire set of people in front of him, right? And he was checking their formation, right? How is the army, what is the formation of the armies in front of him, and what was he doing? He was not, drooped. His body language was not of someone who was depressed or anything. No. He was standing alert and he was lifting his bow. Okay. Dhanurudyamya pandavaha. Right. So it was definitely someone who had whose mindset was ready for a war. He was very courageous and ready for war, and therefore he was, having this Veera Vritti or Veera Buddhi, you might say. And with that attitude, he was going to approach this war, right? And therefore, then he says, Rishikesham tada vakyam idamaha mahipate. So this mahipate over there, right, is addressing whom? It is addressing Dhritarashtra, okay? Because who is talking right now? Sanjay is talking, and Sanjay is speaking to Dhritarashtra, and for him Dhritarashtra is the king. So he is telling, oh Mahipate, this is what the son of Pandu, who was having this flag bearing the monkey insignia, right, and who was ready with his bow. This is what he then spoke to Rishikesha. This is what he told Krishna, who was his charioteer, right? So he says in the next two verses, he says, who says now? Arjuna speaks, okay? So, Arjuna uvacha senayorubhayor madhye ratham stapaya mechuta yavadeta niriksheham yoddhukamanavasthitan kairmaya sahayodhavyam asmin rana samudyame. Okay, so here, in this, you might wonder if you have, I hope you have the verses with you, otherwise I will put them up, okay. So basically it is half and half, right? It will be 21st verse, Arjuna Uvach will come from 20th, right? And then next one will come, 21 verse will come, right? With the last line, Senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapaya mechuta. So he first tells what? He tells Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Rishikesha, oh, oh my friend, take me where? To the center of the battlefield. So he says, Senayoho, among Senayoho there is indicating duel. Okay. So when the duel is there, he is talking of who? The Kaurava party as well as the Pandava party. Okay. The two sides which are there, the two clans which are there, which are facing each other. So he says, Senayoho, Ubhayoho, between the both of them. Ratham sthapaya mechuta. Ubhayoho madhye. In the center of the two armies, O Achyuta. Achyuta, there Achyuta is the name for Krishna over there. Right? Achyuta, O Achyuta, please position my chariot, take my chariot to that place which is the center of the battlefield between the two forces. Okay. So now one might wonder, why is he doing this? Is he trying to push himself in the middle of, middle of the two armies and show that he's some courageous person or something? Is he trying to show off? So then, he further goes on, as we speak of this, we should understand that he is completely in the mindset ready for the war, right? Because the first thing that Sanjay also noted over there was that he has lifted up his bow, right? Which means he's alert and ready to take to battle. And here he is telling Krishna, take us in the middle over there, right? And then further he says, why also? So in the 22nd verse, there he says, Yavadetan niriksheham yodhukaman avasthitan kaihi maya. So he says, kairmaya saha yodhavyam asmin rana samudyame. So he said, why am I asking to do this? It is because I want to see who it is whom I am going to face in battle. Who is it who is standing opposite me right there with the Kauravas? With this whole clan of Kauravas, all Dhritarashtra's sons. Who is it, who have gone hand in hand with them? Because those who have gone hand in hand with Duryodhana are not, are definitely not on the side of Dharma. They are definitely those who have some kind of greed, who have some kind of personal desires to be met, and therefore they are over there, right? So even if it is a huge army, right, then there is some reason they are standing over there, right? So I want to see who are these great people, not just to look down upon them, but more he is a Kshatriya, he is a warrior, and he wants to know who are the great people whom he is going to fight with. He wants to assess their strength. One is that, and two, like how he is telling in the last line over there, he says, Kaihi maya saha yodhum asmin rana samudyame. So who are those? Kaihi. Who are those who are going to battle with me in this rana, in this Mahabharata, right? And then further he says in the next verse, Yotsyamanaaveksheham ya etetra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe yuddhe priyachikirshavah. So then he further says, giving a more plausible reason, not just that he wants to see who are the great warriors, but he wants to see who are these people who have sided with that evil-minded, that durbuddhe yuddhe, the one who is those sons of Dhritarashtra, dhartarashtrasya durbuddhe, those people who have without thought gone and sided with Duryodhana and his brothers. Who are those people? For they cannot be, they cannot be those who have some kind of good in their heart. They are definitely those who have some kind of, personal, what you might say, personal gain for which they are siding with this Duryodhana and his brothers, right? And of course, one more thing over there is that if someone is going hand in hand with a person who is not wanting the good of others, not doing things for the benefit of others, but more working towards harm, right? One who knows that there is a win-win chance, right, of there being peace and appeasement, and is not going for that, but is more going for damaging things or going more for destruction, right? And there are people who are with those kind of people, and there are many we see in this world now also, right? So many times in history, over and over it has happened, right? So it is, why is that happens? Because greed is more dominant, right, than the goodness, right? Those who are of asuri vritti might seem more dominant than those who are of daivi sampat, right? Those who are more thinking of the benefit of others, right? So here too it is the same only, right? There are those who might be good otherwise. They might be good warriors, they might know what is dharma, what is adharma. In fact, Duryodhana himself also proclaimed that he knows what is dharma, but he doesn't want to go with the dharma. He doesn't want to be he doesn't have that kind of conviction, rather, to go with the steadfast way of being with righteousness. He would rather go the adharmic way and entertain himself. Even if he knows it is wrong, yet he wants to choose that wrong path. So too in this world there are many such people, and we see many instances of that. But more we have to examine, where are we standing in this battlefield? Are we on the side of that which is dharma, or are we on the side of that which is adharma, right? That is what this Mahabharata is about. And as we said, that which has happened in the Mahabharata is only right now also, happening all around the world, and that which has not happened in the Mahabharata is not going to otherwise, be seen. So that basically what it says is that all kinds of characters have been portrayed here, right? We have to only see which part of which character is there present in us, and are we fueling that in any way, right? Or are we sublimating that in some way? So what Bhagavan is also going to do for us is, he is going to show us solution towards that, right? And that is the point of keeping all these characters in place, right? So here anyway, here he says that, Arjuna is what is he doing? He wants to assess who are these people. And more, he in his mind, he's trying to see that, I had seen them as my friends. So I didn't know that in their heart they have this kind of support for something which is not good also, right? So he wants to see who are these people, who have been won over by Duryodhana and his false arrogance, right? Because Duryodhana was a force by himself, and this force alone had brought about this war, right? So here he says, Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe yuddhe priya chikirshavah. So he says, I want to see who are those, who want to please the sons of Dhritarashtra and therefore are in this battle, right? And then further, Sanjaya, right? Once Arjuna has made his order known to Rishikesha, because he is the one who is having the chariot, and he is going to be that warrior on that chariot. He is going to be that commander on that chariot, and you have Rishikesha as his charioteer. So Rishikesha, he has to, or rather Bhagwan Krishna, he has to obey the orders as is his duty over there. He has taken the role, so now his master is Arjuna and he has to obey whatever orders he gives him. So here Sanjaya says, Sanjaya uvacha eva mukto Rishikeshaha gudakeshena bharata senayorubhayor madhye sthapayitva rathottamam. We'll go on to chant even the 25th verse. Bhishma drona pramukhatah sarvesham cha mahikshitam uvacha partha pashyaitan Samavetan kuruniti. Okay. So here Sanjay further he narrates what has happened. So he says now listening to what Arjuna has to say, and here the name for Arjuna he is giving as Gudakesha. So Gudakesha, in a way, Gudakesha is suitably, it is said that the one who has long curly locks and they have kind of, been arranged, like tied up into round balls. So then here even in Gurudev's commentary, he says that, that interpretation, it could be that, in those days maybe people had long hair and so that now when they are in the battlefield, the hair should not come in the way, especially when they are on a chariot and the horses are going to go fast, right? So that the hair do not come in the way, right? So maybe they have tied it up in such a way, So maybe that is why it is said Gudakesha, right? So basically Gudakesha, round ball, right? Hair arrangement. That is one interpretation. The other interpretation is that Gudaka Isha. Gudaka Isha, one who is the Lord of sleep, or one who has conquered sleep. So you might ask, how has Arjuna conquered sleep? Is it that he doesn't sleep at all? Is it in that way? So here it is said that he is so passionate about warfare, right? And his absolute absolute passion towards having that complete focus in his bow and arrow, in achieving the target, in hitting the target, that once when he was studying and they were eating, and suddenly the light was blown off, right? And unlike the others, who stopped because they thought, okay, let someone light the lamp and then we can eat. But he continued eating, and he said that, what is the need, for there to be light or one to be able to see when the hand can reach the mouth easily. I don't then need to see. As long as my hand can reach the food and the food can reach the mouth, right? So what is the need of light then, right? And he took this thought further to the fact that if he has to shoot his target, does he really need sight? When the sight is not available, when it is night and there is no light available, can't he just focus on the sound and the movement and accordingly hit in the dark? And he then took to practicing at night. Such was his focus, was his passion towards this archery, right? And therefore, when he was doing this practice he never slept. He used to just keep on practicing, and that is how he got this name of Gudakesha, is one interpretation, right? So he is the one who could be sleepless in his ardent desire to hit wins or to be the best archer, right? So therefore he is said to be, or he is referred to as Gudakesha, one who had conquered sleep. Of course, this would have helped him in the battlefield also, when it was that the Kauravas, they broke the rules and they went for having battle even after sunset. Okay, so here, what is being said? So, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Stapayitva Rathottamam, And who did that? So Sanjay is telling that, as ordered by Arjuna, Gudakesha, Rishikesha, right? Rishikesha is now Krishna, okay? So Krishna, what did he do? He took the chariot into the center of the battlefield. Senayoho ubhayoho madhye sthapayitva. He went and he took the chariot in the middle of the battlefield and he positioned it right in front. So, which chariot? Rathottama, the most supreme, the most divine chariot. Over here, Sanjay also is praising that chariot, okay? So, each time he is doing these small things in his, when he is narrating, he is trying to show that he is on the side of Pandavas, even though he is serving Dhritarashtra, right? Yet whichever opportunity he gets, he tries to up the Pandavas. So here, that name Bharata, which is given in the first line, it is referring to Dhritarashtra. Okay. This I just wanted to mention, because further also in various places this word Bharata will come, that Bharata might refer to Arjuna. Okay. Here Arjuna is being referred to as Gudakesha, Rishikesha is name of Krishna, and Bharata is being referred to as Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjay is just narrating to him that the chariot has now been placed in the center of the battlefield as was instructed by Gudakesha, as was advised by or suggested to Krishna, or rather instructed to Krishna, right? And then what happens? Then you have Krishna speaking. What does he do? First, that not only he takes the chariot to the center of the battlefield, he goes and places it right in front of Bhishma and Drona. So in the 25th verse it says, Bhishma Drona pramukhatah sarvesham cha mahikshitam uvacha partha pashyaitam samavetan kuruniti. So it is very important, this part of it, right? And it is in this verse is the only time in this entire chapter when Bhagwan Krishna is speaking. And he says, what does he say? Pashyaitan, O Partha. Partha, Pashyaitan. O Partha, see. See. What to see? Look at the entire Kuru clan. Samavetan Kurun, the entire clan of Kurus, iti. Because it is not just, the Kauravas, you are also in, you are in the center of the two, right? There is the Pandavas clan and there is the Kauravas clan. And you are right in center as you had asked. I have done that. Now you watch, you observe, pashya, that is what he is saying. And what did he do? Krishna, like he was not being a very dumb charioteer also, okay? Not that, he will only focus on whatever duties he is being assigned and he will do as per the instructions of his master. No, what he did was very strategically, he placed the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona, okay? Now just imagine, had he not to do this and had he to place that chariot in front of Duryodhana, what would have happened? Duryodhana, the main cause of this battle. The main cause, since their childhood, they had had so much of conflict. Every time he was boiling and every time he was bringing up some or the other kind of, pain for them. Be it poisoning beam, be it, further also the Lakh Palace, the incident of the Lakh Palace where he tried to completely destroy the Pandavas, kill them in that fire. right? Then further, the 13 years of exile that they had to go through. All this was the root cause was Duryodhana and his insecurity. That insecurity which came with what? With the jealousy that he bore. And that became the root of so many problems, and that led to this war. So if Krishna had kept the chariot in front of Duryodhana, immediately, Arjuna would have launched the battle. He would have shot the first arrow and he would have started, right? Then there would not be any Bhagavad Gita, basically, right? Or if he had also kept him, or if he had to put the chariot in front of Dushasana, what then you would say, right? Dushasana, the one who had derobed Draupadi and said what not, humiliated the Pandavas like anything, and for which, even Bhima had pledged that, he will kill him, not just he will kill him, but he will, with his blood, he will wash Draupadi's hair, right? So anyways, so point is that had Krishna placed that chariot in front of Duryodhana or Dushasana, then Arjuna would have kicked on to his Kshatriyaness and gone and started the war, right? But instead, what did Bhagavan do? He placed him in front of Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma, his grandsire. Since his childhood, it was Bhishma only who brought them back to Hastinapur. And not just that, made sure that, all the missed years of staying in the forest, they were given all kinds of pleasures. He pampered them like anything. At the same time, he saw to it that they got the right kind of training as princes, as Kshatriyas. And it was he only who further, listening to Arjuna, when he saw Dronacharya, and Dronacharya had rescued their ball with a set of arrows. And looking at Dronacharya's amazing skills, awesome skills for that child who was aspiring to be the best archer, right? It was just something out of the world, right? Which he had seen, and that he had reported to his grandsire, and he had appointed Dronacharya as his teacher, as the entire Kauravas and Pandavas teacher. And right here in front of him were these two. So here, Arjuna, though he was a warrior, he was not a crooked warrior. He was not someone who had any kind of insecurity, like whom? Like Duryodhana. So when he was placed in front of them, he had only admiration. He had only that heart which was reaching out to them. They were his seniors, they were his teachers. Not only them, when he looked at them, he would also see the others. There was Kripacharya, there was others also who were equally great, who had in some way or the other touched his life and taught him well, right? So for him, there was that gratitude which came to the fore, rather than that, eagerness to fight against the evil forces of Duryodhana and Dushasana and all the others over there. So how Lord Krishna placed that chariot? He placed the chariot in the center of the Kurukshetra, between the two. So he was looking at both, the entire set of Kurus. And yet, whom was he face to face with? He was face to face with Bhishma and Dronacharya. And that totally changed the game, right? And that reduced that Veera Vritti Arjuna, the one who had come with the the entire chivalrousness, entire warrior kind of attitude onto the battlefield, ready to battle. And he was with that positiveness because he was going to fight the battle of dharma. For him, that was it. But here, now, there was going to be a change in his mindset. And that same Arjuna, seeing these great men in front of him, was going to reduce to a very pitiful kind of a person who was thinking, how will I face my own kith and kin? How can I do this? How can I kill them? So he then reduces to a very pitiful kind of a person who forgets what is his dharma, who forgets that his swadharma as a kshatriya is to fight. And he knew fully well when he was coming to the battle. And yet, what happened? That same person in that same position, senayor ubhayor madhye. Okay. So that senayor ubhayor madhye has come twice so far, right? So first is when Arjuna tells Krishna, take me to the center of the battlefield, right? Then next, Bhagwan says, okay, fine, you want to go to the center of the battlefield? Here, I have brought you to the center of the battlefield. Now Pashya, observe. You wanted to see, na? You wanted to see the both sides? Because that is what Arjuna also says. I want to see. I want to see whom I am face to face with. Who is the one whom I am going to battle? Now see. See both sides. Who are your opponents? Who are those on your side? Who are the ones on Duryodhana's side? Are they good? Are they bad? You observe. So this kind of scenario comes about where then he is reduced to a, from that, brave, courageous dhira, he is reduced to a very pitiful kind of person who is saying, maybe I should take sannyas, maybe I should run away from this battlefield. I can't fight this, right? And there alone, after Bhagwan's upadesha, what happens? When he comes to a state when he is able to ask Bhagwan, ki, you tell me the solution. I can't think, you tell me the solution. Then Bhagwan, of course, gives him the upadesha, and at the end, what does the same Arjuna say? He says, Nashto moha smrutil labdha. Right? I have now, my entire delusion is gone, oh Bhagwan. Now I am ready. I am ready to do that which is my dharma. Okay. So therefore, it is just that same scene, senayor ubhayor madhye, but just different, how the different circumstances have, or rather how the same place, same position has brought a different mindset in the same person. From being brave as a warrior to a depressed person, to a person, or a depressed person who can't face the challenge in front of him, to a person who is more confident. Because what? Because now he has clarity through knowledge. And that is what then makes him ready to face the battles of life. So there is this, what we are saying is that it is not the parasthiti which is going to change. It is that manasthiti which has to change. It is that mindset which has to change. It is the vision of our life that has to change. Right? It is only when we have that change in perspective that, the same circumstances will make us victorious. Right? No matter what. Okay. So, we will stop here and we will continue in the next class. So, we have basically come to that state where Arjuna is now come to a do or die. Okay, and we'll continue on it next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om. Thank you.